He's popular in his native Ohio, I assume. He's also popular in Lambeau Field, I'll tell you that. And he joins me here on the Rich Eisen Show right now, live from Ann Arbor, Michigan. How are you, Des?
Rich, I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for having me on your show. You know, I'm a huge fan, and, man, I know it feels great to be back up in Ann Arbor, doesn't it?
It sure does, and I've only been here just for a few hours, and, you know, I have to speak to the team later on, Desmond.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's big.
That's big. He wants me to speak to him after practice. What in the world? What's the best speech that you've heard? Was it Bo? Who delivered the best speech you've ever heard?
Oh, there's nothing like Bo. I mean, Bo was the absolute best. And, I mean, that guy, he would have you ready to run through a brick wall for him. I mean, he was the best motivator, best pregame speech coach I've ever been around. So, yeah, clearly Bo Schembechler.
He was the best. I mean, any particular game that you recall at all with him?
Well, you know, coach would get you up for, you know, any game, but obviously the Ohio State game. I mean, because it meant so much to him, and because he coached with Woody Hayes, so that rivalry was big. It was almost personal. So I mean, before that game, he didn't hide it. You know, some coaches try to play that, hey, this is just another game, it's just another team. He's like, no, make no mistakes about it. Ohio State on our schedule that we had in our meeting room was a red letter game. I mean, you know, all the other games were like in blue. That game was in red letters. You know, no mistake about it. This game takes on a whole different meaning. This is not Purdue. It's not Iowa. This is the Ohio State Buckeyes. And he made no bones about it. He let you know that this game was the game.
So then how do I get these kids up for Central Florida?
Good luck, buddy.
Okay. All right. I'm looking for, you know, advice, and now I got a little pat on the back saying, go, you know, just go with the gut. I guess go with your gut. Is that what you're saying?
No, you know, hey, you know, just tell them you can't take any opponent lightly, because I don't care who you're playing. Once they come out on that field and they see that winged helmet, you're going to get their best effort. No matter what you saw on film, that's not the team you're going to see when they get on that field and they see the winged helmet and they line up against you. You're going to get their A game. So just be aware of that. Don't take them lightly, and go out there and play to the Michigan Wolverine standard.
So I'm with Desmond Howard here on the Rich Eisen Show, Heisman Trophy winner here in Ann Arbor, ESPN College Game Day analyst. And you were in Lambeau Field last week. Wisconsin LSU was such an incredible game. I mean, this past weekend in college football was so awesome. A great kickoff to the sport of football prior to Labor Day. And now here's this week where there's no games with ranked teams going against each other. Which do you think is the best game this weekend with a possibility of an upset?
Well, you know, I think there will be some really, really competitive games out there. You know, we're at one. I think Tennessee versus Virginia Tech should be a really good game. Obviously, Tennessee didn't look good in week one, and a lot of people around the country picked Tennessee to get to the SEC championship game to represent the East. So, I mean, they have some rebuilding to do as far as their offensive line, and try to get things done in the trenches. Josh Dobbs is their quarterback. He's a guy who I think he needs to become more consistent. His accuracy sometimes starts to he has problems with his accuracy sometimes. I think he needs to be more consistent. He almost lost the game for him in overtime. He tried to dive into the end zone, actually fumbled the ball, but one of his teammates recovered it, and that's how they beat Appalachian State. I think TCU and Arkansas is going to be a really good game. Arkansas just squeaked by Louisiana Tech last week by 1 point, and they were favored to beat them by 3 touchdowns. So I bet you Brett Bielema looked at that tape and showed it to his players and probably really reamed them about it and just beat them over the head with, listen, you can't play down to your opponent's level. We have a standard here, and we have to play up to that standard. And TCU, same situation. You know, they're in a situation where a lot of people picked them to win the Big 12. They struggled last week out the gate, too. So I think those are two really good games. When you look at Virginia Tech and Tennessee here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And then Arkansas TCU should be a really good game, too.
Desmond Howard joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. A lot of a conversation coming out of last night's game between Denver and Carolina, Des, about the protocols and the concussion protocol that the NFL has put into place, about taking somebody that maybe Cam should have been removed from the game last night after getting clocked with 40 seconds to go on the clock. What is college football doing at its level, where the kids are younger, the hits appear to be as harsh, and kids' brains aren't as developed as a grown man as they are in the National Football League? Do you think it's being done properly at the collegiate level, Des?
I think it's headed in the right direction, Rich. I really do, because it's getting so much attention now. I think that everyone's paying attention to each and every hit now. And it's not just the obvious hits, too, like what happened to Cam Newton. I mean, sometimes you have a helmet to a knee hit that looks routine, but if you watch the guy, you observe the player whose helmet took a knee, then you start to understand, okay, this guy's not right, and then you call him over. So I think because there are more eyes now on the sideline looking at players, especially after each play, I think we're moving in the right direction, but we still have a long way to go.
Would you make these reviewable, helmet-to-helmet hits reviewable at the NFL level? Would you think that would work?
I think it would. I think because the game happens so fast. These officials, they can't be in the right position or the perfect position every time to get the best angle to be able to determine if it was a helmet-to-helmet hit, because it happens really, really fast. And, I think if you're able to review it, then, you have a better chance of really determining whether, the guy launched himself or whether it was a helmet-to-helmet or whatever you want to see. But, man, Rich, you've been at games, you've watched them field level. You understand how things happen in the blink of an eye, and you really don't know that, did he lead with his shoulder? Did he lead with his helmet? So I think reviewing it would help get the calls right.
Desmond Howard joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who's your Final Four right now as it currently stands, entering week 2 of the college, or week 3 technically of the college football season?
Well, I'm glad you asked me right now, because it has changed a little bit from week 1, because there were some upsets in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, Clemson. Who else do I have? Alabama, Clemson. I may have to put in Texas. Alabama, Clemson, Texas.
Texas?
And, yeah.
Already?
Yeah. Well, I picked them to win the Big 12 before the season even started, so I kind of got to roll with them.
Okay, roll with it. Okay, you're committed.
Yeah, I got to roll with it. I picked
committed.
them to win the Big. Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
And then Michigan.
You really think we're ready for that big step up, Desmond?
I don't see why not, man. I don't see any dominant teams, and that I think can just take care of business from wire to wire. I really don't. I think if we just handle our business, and if we stay injury free, I think I think we can beat every team on our schedule. Even if you lose one game, mm-hmm. you still can make it to the college football playoff. So I think there's room for error, and Harbaugh may be ahead of schedule.
Well, he's put a very important issue for the team in my hands for tonight, Desmond. So I'm going to help. I've got my poll question today, asking my listeners for help. So I'd like to elicit your help as well, Desmond. Okay, before I let you go here, Harbaugh has 2 selections for the movie to show to the team tonight, and the choices are 8 Mile or Trading Places. Which one would you choose, Desmond?
Wow, I would probably choose, for this generation, 8 Mile.
But don't you think Clarence Beeks in the crop report is a timeless conundrum, Desmond? Don't you think?
I don't know if this generation, if this group will appreciate that as much. I do personally. I love it. I may watch it next week since you brought it up.
Sure.
But
Eddie Murphy wondering who put the cools out on his carpet. I mean, I think that crosses generations as well. But okay, so you go 8 Mile. You go 8 Mile.
Yeah, I think 8 Mile. It may hit a little closer to home to those guys, you know what I mean? So,
okay, Desmond, thanks for joining. I definitely want you on more often, but certainly with me in Ann Arbor, I wanted to pick up the phone and have you as my first guest today. Thanks for doing it.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me, and good luck with that speech. Okay.
I will. Thank you, Desmond. I appreciate that.
All
That's
right.
Desmond Howard
Yes, sir.
here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.